This is a teaching called the 5 Remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. I cannot avoid growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. I cannot avoid ill health. I am of the nature to die. I cannot avoid death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. I cannot avoid being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot avoid the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. This set of reminders appears in the Upajjhatthana Sutta, Subjects for Contemplation. And it's a teaching that's meant to be memorized and recited. First thing in the morning, after waking up, last thing at night, before sleeping, or really any time that we forget that having and gaining and grabbing and holding won't help us when it's time to let go of our most precious possession, our lives. And those first 3, I am of the nature to grow old, to have ill health, and to die, we can recognize as the 3 signs that the Buddha saw that led to his setting off on the path. As the story goes, he left the safety of the palace. He left the safety of denial. And he saw on the streets of his town, first an old person, a sick person, and a corpse. And he asked his cousin Chana, who was with him, "Who is that? Who is that?" He'd never seen old age, sickness, and death. He had lived so protected. "Who is that?" he said. And when Chana explained, he asked, "Will this happen to me?" And Chana said, "Yes, my lord. No one can avoid getting old. No one can avoid getting sick. No one can avoid dying." And the Buddha wondered, must we all suffer so? Is there no way to be liberated from this type of suffering? And this is what set him on the path in search of the answer to his question. If I cannot avoid growing old, and I cannot avoid getting sick, and I cannot avoid dying, can I be free within them? This is what these first 3 remembrances are asking us to reflect upon. The 4th remembrance, all that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. I cannot avoid being separated from them. This is, of course, the teaching on impermanence. We lose things. We lose people all the time. And one day we will be separated. And this is a painful truth to face. But even more painful is to avoid it. To pretend as if this won't happen to me, and therefore to live a fantasy. But to face it gently, lovingly, courageously, allows us to live truthfully, knowingly, and with great appreciation for what we have. Understanding, as this 5th remembrance says, that the only thing I have, the only thing I leave behind is my actions. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot avoid the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. My actions are my inheritance. They're the ground upon which I stand now and the ground I leave to my descendants. whether these are my blood descendants or my spiritual descendants. My actions are the gift I offer the world or the burden the rest of you have to carry. And which one it is depends entirely on what I do now. And then in this next moment and the one after that. And so at first glance, some of these Buddhist teachings might seem heavy. I gave one person Atisha's 9 death contemplations, and they came back to me and said, thank you. Thank you. Knowing that I'm going to die, facing that fact has made very clear what it is that I want to do with the time I have left. And they said, I sent them to a bunch of my friends. Not everyone responded so well to them. You can imagine. You know, these are not meant to bum you out. They're meant to wake you. And so, listening to these 5 remembrances, spend some time reflecting this morning. Do I understand? Do I know in my being the truth of these statements? I can't avoid growing old. I cannot avoid getting ill. I cannot avoid death. I can't hold on to what I have, and I cannot take it with me. And so, what do I do? Now, what do I do? What do I want to do that I can't put off any longer? And how do I live so these actions of mine are indeed gifts and not burdens for the rest of you? In other words, what do I want to leave behind?